from the vault, high atop the pastoral center of the Diocese of Camden, you're listening to Talking Catholic.
Hey guys, I'm Pete Sanchez. Thanks so much for listening to Talking Catholic. I'm here with Mike Walsh, and we have a gaggle of guests here, don't we today, Mike?
Yes. I don't know if the accurate representation of them is a gaggle, but they are a wonderful cadre.
They are cadre. You know,
I'm very
that might
excited
be,
about it.
I was going alliterative, but
You were?
cadre is a better word than
Yes.
gaggle.
Yes.
They're not geese.
No, although, well, no, they're not. They are very much human. That is a good point. They, but it's funny. It's like most of the time we have meetings with 3 of the 4 of our guests today, and anytime we have our regular meetings, they are loud and boisterous and whatnot. And I'm very much hoping that the podcast will be that today, loud and boisterous.
I think it will, Mike, and that's another one of my favorite. You used 2 great words there, cadre and boisterous.
That's because I have an excellent vocabulary.
That sounds... Absolutely. I can't even come up with anything witty.
No, my mom trained us well. She was a firm believer in 10-cent words. You know, get the most out of you that you can out of your words.
Sounds good. She's somebody who.
It's a shame she doesn't listen to the podcast anymore because I name drop her as much as I can, Mom, but she doesn't listen.
Hi, Mike's mom.
I use this to make her feel bad. So I go, "Hey, Mom, I was talking about you on the podcast. Did you hear?" And she goes, "No." I was like, oh, "It's a shame, Mom."
I want to hear those 10-cent words.
You just cadre. I'll bring a few more.
Yeah, okay. That's another reason to listen.
I also overuse words a lot too. My cousin has a list that he keeps of words that I go back to far too often.
Interesting.
I say a vat of things a lot, so he'll reference So VAT is on this list.
Interesting.
Yes.
And so, who do we have with us today?
I don't know.
Well, we have Mary Beth Peabody. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Pete?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us. You're here with your colleague. You're a marketing. I keep forgetting the title.
Okay. I am manager of communications and marketing for South Jersey Catholic Schools.
Thank you so much, Mary Beth. And with you is your colleague, Marianela Nunez. How are you?
Muy bien, gracias. How are you, Pete?
I'm doing wonderful. Gracias. Mucho gusto.
Do you remember my title?
Director of Latino Enrollment.
Oh, director. I like that.
Yes. You just promoted her, but hey, that's
Thank
awesome.
you. Do I get a raise, Mike?
Yep.
Thanks.
You're not my department, so I'll give you a raise, sure.
Field consultant for the Latino Enrollment Initiative for the Diocese of Camden.
I knew there were a lot more words in that title than Pete rattled off.
Title.
Yeah. All right.
How
Next
about
up.
I don't? Well, Maria D'Antonio.
No. What is? So you've been working with Maria for 12 years. What is Maria's title, Pete? Come on, bring it.
Many.
Maria, you are administrative assistant here.
You are absolutely. She is not the administrative assistant. That woman is my right hand, who I actually want to give a title change because. Oh my God, I'm embarrassed. This is terrible.
Pete, I think you're in big trouble.
Pete, you are going to be banned for the next 5 minutes. For 5 minutes, Pete's not allowed to say anything on the thing. Maria, please give your title so Pete will remember, and we'll have it recorded.
You're allowed
I
to
am
laugh.
the communications coordinator and the web contact manager in the Department of Communications with Mike, with Pete, and the Catholic Star Herald for many years.
And the second-ranking person in the communications department who is about to fire Pete's butt.
Titles do not mean a thing.
All right.
Do not mean a thing. No offense taken.
That is true. But more importantly, she is my right hand, and I wouldn't be able to get anything done without Maria. So everyone know if you're talking to me or talking to Maria, you're talking to the boss. So who's up next?
All right, Pete, last chance for redemption. What's my title?
No. He's banned for 5 minutes. I'm keeping a stopwatch. You're going to have to give your own title.
It's Mary McCusker here from Catholic Charities, Diocese of Camden.
Okay.
I didn't even say my title, Marketing Communications Coordinator.
That's right. My other right hand. So
I
thank
knew
you
that.
very much. That you was my other
I
right
believe
hand?
you, Pete.
Okay.
And I apologize. I deeply apologize, Mary Beth, Marianela, and Maria.
If people hear silent spaces, because I'm cutting out everything Pete says for the next 5 minutes. That's what's going to happen.
You do not worry, Pete. We're just trying to make it fun here.
Yes, you are. So we have a list of things that are coming up in the diocese. Who's up first with what we're rolling out?
I believe I am. We're starting with this Monday, Memorial Day, our South Jersey Catholic cemeteries in remembrance of those who have died in service are having special masses at all the diocesan cemeteries on Monday morning. So we have Gate of Heaven in Berlin, we have St. Joe's Cemetery in Swedesboro, St. Mary's Cemetery in Williamstown, Calvary Cemetery in Cherry Hill. There's a new St. Mary's Cemetery in Belmore, All Saints in Newfield, Sacred Heart in Vineland, and Holy Cross Cemetery in Mays Landing. So please feel free to join us or are welcome to visit our diocesan cemeteries and mausoleums to pray for our dearly departed loved ones on Monday and any time that you feel that you would like to pay reverence to those who have passed before us and who are awaiting the resurrection.
And, it's at visiting, burying the dead is one of the things every Catholic should do, but visiting the dead is something that's important to us as well. And most of those masses are 9 or 10 o'clock. Check the website, the Catholic, the Diocese of Camden website, camdendiocese.org, or go to southjerseycatholiccemeteries.org. And if you've never been to a mass it's a very reverential opportunity to spend time with the deceased. And let's face it, all of us in our busy schedules, we don't think about spending time with the deceased a lot. But I've had a lot of deaths in the family over the last couple of years, and I'm actually spiritually moved by the number of people in my family and friends of the family that have gone to visit the dead of my family, my grandparents and whatnot, and some others. It's a wonderful experience, and if you haven't ever had the opportunity to do it, I recommend it. You don't have to go all the time, but once a year, it's always kind to remember those who have passed on and gone back home ahead of us, because one day that'll be us, and I hope a few people will remember us. I know lots of people remember you all. I don't know if anybody remember me. But so who's next?
I think I'm going to carry on the Mass theme. We invite you all to join us for Mass at the shore this summer. Most of us make it down there at one time or another, and we have wonderful parishes all along the coast that host Masses. You can find times on the Catholic Star Herald website, catholicstarherald.org, or camdendiocese.org. So join us for Mass at the shore.
Mm-hmm. All right, who's up next? Who's on the list? Pete, you're back in. Are you up next?
Yeah, the Villages of Mary. This is a Marian retreat going on at the Catholic Community of the Holy Spirit. Its guest speaker will be Joan Sandell of Christ Our Light Parish in Cherry Hill. This is going to be Saturday, June 1st from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And wonderful. It will end in Mass. This is going to be at the Catholic Community of the Holy Spirit Parish's Parish Center on Mullica Hill, 17 Earlington Avenue in Mullica Hill. There will also be optional activities for individuals. There's no cost, but bring a picnic lunch. Everyone ages 12 and up is welcome to attend. And to do so, call the number Lorraine Hanasco at 856-981-1232 or email her, Lorraine Hanasco, LORRAINEHNOSKO @yahoo.com. Again, this is Saturday, June 1st, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., the Marian Retreat at the Catholic Community of the Holy Spirit in Mullica Hill.
All right, next up.
So Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish is preparing to celebrate their 10th year anniversary. So all are welcome and invited to come to the Mass for the Anointing of the Sick at St. Lawrence Church at 2:30 p.m. There's a nice fellowship gathering after the Mass. There's a free will offering if you can support with something. And the Mass is going to be, again, on Sunday, June 9th, 2019, Domingo 9 de junio, a las 2:30 de la tarde, misa por la anunciación de los enfermos. Todos están invitados a participar y habrá un pequeño compartir después de la misa. Los invitamos.
Nice job. It's always, I love it when the bilingual people join us.
Well, that's a tough act to follow.
Yeah,
I don't want to read my announcement now.
You can do it in Korean.
That's right. You can do, what are you talking about? You speak Korean.
Do it.
Thanks, Marianela. Well, I like this announcement because it's my favorite sport, soccer. So the Diocese of Camden is having a soccer cup for both boys and girls ages 18 to 30. This will be happening on Saturday, June 15th at St. Augustine Preparatory School. from looks like all day, 8:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. It sounds like it'll be really fun. Come for a day of family, fun, and happy, healthy, and holy. That has Greg Coogan written all over it, that phrase. There'll be music, prayer, food, and it looks like the event is free. It's sponsored by the Youth and Young Adult Ministries and the Hispanic Ministry. I cannot repeat all of that in Spanish, but Marianela, do you want to?
Marianela, crack of that in Spanish?
Te invitamos a un día de diversión familiar y una competencia llena de felicidad, alegría y fraternidad. Tendremos música, oración y comida para nuestros participantes y sus familias. Recuerden, es totalmente gratis. Tendremos un equipo de chicas solamente y un equipo de jóvenes varones también. Así que por favor vengan el 15 de junio del 2019 a la preparatoria St. Augustine en Richland, de 8:30 a las 5 de la tarde. La entrada es totalmente gratis.
Gracias, mi amor.
Gracias a ti.
That's all I got.
I like that, mi amor.
And we have no way of knowing if what she said was just true.
Oh, sure we do. She's the best. Yes, we do. So we invited you all on today because it is about to be Memorial Day weekend. And quite frankly, we haven't had one of these podcasts in a while where we invite back our friends from around the diocesan offices to pop in. So because it's the beginning of Memorial Day weekend, that's the unofficial start of summer, particularly here in South Jersey. So as someone who used to be a guy who lived at the shore, then got married to someone who doesn't believe that the shore exists, so we very rarely get an opportunity to go down, I wanted to have a shore-based, what to do for the summertime kind of podcast. And 3 of the 4 of you I know are very, well, actually including Pete, 4 of the 5 of you are very much shore folk. So my curiosity is, as we go around the table, Mary, what is your preferred shore community, or the one you grew up with the most?
Brigantine, New Jersey. I think it's the hidden gem of the Jersey Shore because, I have family who were born and raised in Atlantic City and Brigantine, and it amazes me how many people don't know that Brigantine exists. It's, right next to Atlantic City,
yeah,
but it's just kind of this hidden little island, and I just love it there. I've been going there my entire life. The beaches are clean. There's a really great crowd of locals there. I worked at a beach bar there for like 8 years, Laguna Rum Bar. A great place to go if anyone ever makes their way down there. But Brigantine is my choice. I love it there.
Okay. My only memory of Brigantine was when I was a kid and there was still the Brigantine Castle there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that scary thing. I don't know I think I only went into it once when I was about maybe 13. But I remember you would go down the boardwalk there, and there'd be a guy on the outside basically trying to scare people as they walked past.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was frightening. But it was really cool. There was always commercials for it on TV, and I always wanted to go. And then the one time I went, I was very scared.
I don't remember that, but I remember the arcade very vividly. But
that's because you're younger than me by like 20 years.
Well, in exactly 1 month, I'll be 27, so that's another summer thing I'm looking forward to.
You're so close to 30.
Oh, that's awesome, Mary.
Before
27.
Yep, pushing 30, man.
Mary, how does
I
it
feel old.
Both of you are
I'm 31.
So old, I know.
You look younger than me, though.
Well, Maria, I'm curious. So we have Brigantine on the map. What is your preferred shore community?
I have to say a couple.
That's
because
okay.
I'll be real. First of all, I grew up going day tripping to Margate, which I truly love. Short drive, love that. But most recently, in the last 20 years, our family has been going with friends and family to Ocean City.
That's right.
And even more recently, I have a family member we are now also in Avalon.
Oh, okay.
So I can mention 3 of them
Okay.
very well.
Now we're gonna skip a person.
Skip
Hold on.
me.
We're gonna skip you. We're gonna come back to you at the end. So, Mary Beth, where is your allegiances? Your shore allegiances at?
I'm pretty torn on that, Mike. So I grew up going to Stone Harbor and Avalon. I guess I could do the reverse of on my way to Cape May because I'm going away from Cape May. We started in Stone Harbor, moved up to Avalon. They're kind of all one spot.
Yeah.
And now we were lucky enough about 4 years ago to be able to buy a place in Sea Isle.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, other people use it most of the summer, but that's okay because we get it in the off season and those last couple weeks of summer. So that's where I'll be.
Alrighty. Pete, growing up, what was your shore point?
Well, I go a little more north, outside of this diocese, and the Trinidad Diocese is Long Beach Island. It's about an hour away. I've just been going there for years with my family. It's just a beautiful, understated community, which is what I like. There's no boardwalk. I guess I'm a fan of the non-boardwalk. Those communities that don't have it, it's just a little, I wouldn't call it sleepy, but it feels, it's just very intimate. And like I said, for about more than 75% of my life, I've been going there every summer.
So then, Marianela, you've been in the United States for a wee bit less than the rest of us, even at your advanced age of 31. But as someone who grew up in the Dominican Republic, you've lived here a long time. You know what summer at the shore means for locals. Is there a Dominican equivalent?
She's about to one-up us again.
Well,
No. Well, first of all, we have all sort of like communication professionals here, and I would like to put a question out first. When I first came to the U.S., I had to learn the word the shore.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've actually heard some people from other states saying that the Jersey Shore is such a thing. So, where did that come from first?
You mean instead of referring to it as the beach?
Instead of the beach.
Right.
Yeah.
That is just something that sort of developed. It's basically South Jersey, or it's a Jersey terminology. You don't see it almost anywhere else. It comes from the shoreline. So the shoreline of a coast or something like that. That's a nautical term.
Thank you.
And we're a very nautical state, so that there are a lot of boat manufacturers down in South Jersey. So we have this nautical background. So that's where shore comes from. But you're right. Everybody else calls it the beach. We call it the shore.
As a junior in high school, many, many years ago, I moved to South Carolina, where everybody goes to the beach. Mm-hmm. And when I would talk about going, first of all, up north to the shore, there is no concept of that because people can't imagine New Jersey as a place that has a beautiful shore. But they would say, "Oh, you're going to the shore?" And I got a lot of grief from that. But the distinction here is that you go to the shore, but once you're at the shore, you say, "Hey, I'm going to the beach."
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And for the people who grew up,
See, I'm still learning these things.
That's right. So the shore is a region. The beach is the actual strip of sand on the
Well,
on
I
the
grew
water.
up going to the beach, but more than the beach, in the Dominican Republic, we have a lot of rivers. So, I guess Americans go and they love to go to the beaches in the Dominican Republic, but local people, a lot of people prefer to go to the rivers instead.
Really?
Yeah, sweet waters. Yeah.
Ah, so what is life on the river like?
Well, you can cook around, sweet water, and it's quiet. People love it. So
Is Sweetwater the region, or is the water actually sweet?
no, the water's sweet. So and they're clear. They're so crystal clear waters, and there's just a big appetite for that. Now we have beautiful beaches. Mm-hmm. It's I grew up going to Puerto Plata because that's 45 minutes away from my house, and we would go there. When I came to the U.S. and I went to my first beach in the U.S., which was in Atlantic City.
oh no.
That was painful.
Yeah, I can see coming from the beautiful shoreline of the Dominican Republic suddenly to be in Atlantic City might be a different
Yes.
kind of perspective.
If you look at the different ways people go to the beach, in the Dominican Republic versus the U.S. So Americans go and they take the sun baths, right? Mm-hmm. In the Dominican Republic, we have beaches with the palm trees, and you would see Dominicans under the trees. Nobody wants to get burned. Mm-hmm. So if you want to identify who the Americans or tourists are,
yeah, they're the ones
you
on
would
the
see,
sand. It's funny to hear you say that. My college girlfriend lived in Hawaii for several years, and she was the same way when she came to so she lived in Hawaii and sort of as a middle schooler, and then she came to Jersey in high school, and then so we would talk about going to the shore, and she'd be like, why? It's I've been to Hawaii, why would I go to the Jersey Shore? She's learned to appreciate the fact that getting back to Hawaii is a heck of a lot harder than it is to get to Jersey. but it's like anytime it'll be fun. We'll go down to the shore. She's like, the boardwalks are nice. So, but that was it. Like you don't have good waves on the East Coast. I mean,
So
I know
like,
that
I can see my feet like under the water, and just really nice.
And when I was growing up,
sand.
there was still medical waste coming up on the shore that you had to be worried about and things like that. So we know that the Jersey Shore has its issues.
Now wait a minute.
Seriously.
I kind of like the murkiness. You can't see your feet. You don't know what's gonna hit your leg. I like that exhilaration of having no idea if that thing that hit your ankle was
So
a shark
you're-
or a dead body
Or jellyfish.
or jellyfish. I like that thrill.
blissfully. I feel you're like blissfully ignorant. Kind
Exactly.
Of. Okay. Oh wait, was that just a stone or was that? Because now
You
they
don't
keep
know.
talking about the Portuguese man o' wars coming here.
What?
The jellyfish, the most deadly
Those
jellyfish. in
huge
the-
things?
Yeah, they're coming. They're migrating to the East Coast. They talked about. I know Long Beach Island every year. Not so much shark, but Marianela, you were talking about the river. It made me think about how other places do it here in the U.S. too. You look at Arkansas, where I have family. Every summer, my family would go down in August, and we go to Lake Hamilton, which is a little. Not where my family was from, but a little ways away from Hot Springs, Arkansas, where my mother grew up. And Lake Hamilton, beautiful, gorgeous. Like you said, you had your own little spot. It was just quiet, peaceful. And for much as I love the shore, the beach, whatever you call it, in some ways I feel as I get older, that's more my speed. I don't know. What is your experience? I mean, is it, I guess if you had your druthers, you'd be down in Puerto Rico.
Well, she's Dominican. But
I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm just going to shut up for the rest of this podcast.
No, Pitt, we love you. So I actually love the best of both worlds, I guess. When I go back, I always feel like, oh my God, this is so nice. I love the weather. Sometimes it is too hot, I have to admit. I remember when I was growing up and I started wearing makeup, and I used to say, I'm going to move to Alaska. This is so hot in here. Just for the sake of be able to wear makeup and not get it all over your
Mascara
face.
running all over.
Yeah, not good picture.
So now that you've been living in Jersey, do you go to the shore at all? Like, do you have a preferred shore place, or do you like to go elsewhere? Or
Well, I don't really have a shore place. That's not something that we.
You're not a shore person?
Really do
okay.
much. I just went to the shore, Mary Beth's place the other day. It was not very nice weather.
can't do anything about the weather.
The place was beautiful. So I don't have anything against it, but
Okay. Don't ask a Dominican what the Jersey Shore is like.
Yes.
I got it.
The truth is, every time Marianela has ever been to the shore, it has rained.
Oh no.
That might be
I
you
don't
then,
have
Marianela.
good luck.
Okay.
But I have to say, Sea Isle Beach is much more beautiful than Atlantic City. It's just cleaner.
Well,
Am I being so bold?
No, it's not. I mean, think of it this way. Atlantic City is really an urban city that just happens to be on the shoreline. So with it, you get a lot of urban influences around it. So there's more trash, there's more people, there's more everything. And actually, it's a very narrow strip of beach. So where someplace like Wildwood, which is the beach is a mile wide, literally, or almost literally, you can hide some things there. On a narrow beach, you're going to see everything.
Plus
Well,
the
I
boardwalks.
have to
Yeah.
add too, Dominicans or a lot of Latino people go to American beaches and they're like, they go and sit down, and that's what they like to do. That's what we like to do. You just sit down, not really go into the water. But when you go to the DR, there's something that calls you into the water, so you just want to go in.
You know what, Marianela? You would like, and this, I feel like these are the hidden gems of South Jersey. In the Pine Barrens, they have these water quarries there. They're crystal clear blue water. And now there's all sorts of myths about how they came to be. I don't know which are true and which aren't, but the water is crystal clear blue, surrounded by trees, and there is sand there. You have to kind of have a 4-wheel drive and really get the tires dirty
is
to
it
get
called?
there, but
Well, there's a ton of them.
There's
South
a
Jersey
lot.
is loaded with them. As a matter of fact, I was a lifeguard for 6 years.
oh god,
That's right.
disturbing.
That's right. I was in charge of people's lives.
Disturbing.
I was a lifeguard at 2 different lakes. They were both managed by by Gloucester County, and one was a cedar lake outside of my hometown in Clayton, which was just a natural river lake that was very, very brown. It's called brackish because of all the cedar trees around it. But it was actually, there were those who believed there were health benefits to being there because of that brackishness. Like we used to have people come up and they would lather themselves in the mud from the.
Oh my god, it's not the Dead Sea. It's South Jersey. Come on, people.
That's exactly how people looked at it. But man, they loved it. But then the other one I worked at was a quarry lake.
Yeah.
And what was interesting, and until Marianela said it, I never thought about it before. Both of these lakes would have an enormous number of Latino families that would come, incredibly huge numbers of Latino families. And I never put 2 and 2 together that the reason they did it was because they weren't necessarily shore oriented; they were lake or river oriented. That you have 30 years of my life, I've never put 2 and 2 together. And I would get very friendly with the Latino families. As a matter of fact, Marianela, you would be proud of me. My best Spanish spoken was the years I worked at the lakes that were, because it was great because I get very tan and people would often come up to me thinking that I was...
You speak Spanish.
Spoke Spanish.
Oh my goodness.
And I would have to disappoint them all, but I picked it up pretty quick and it was great. I was some of my best experiences. But to her point, actually... In South Jersey, there are a ton of lakes and rivers, like the Mullica River down in Hamilton. But also, what you're describing reminds me of what everybody does in the Poconos. The Poconos is all rivers and lakes. And, like if you follow Cecily Tynan on 6ABC, she's got a Pocono house. And she just goes water skiing on these enormous lakes in the Poconos. And so you'll have big boats out there and stuff like that. So, yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah. You want to know what people eat when they go to the beach?
Yes, I really do, because I want to see if it's the same thing that I remember people eating when I would come.
I just want to know if they take it in their shoe boxes.
Those are only Pennsylvanians migrating
and
to the
New
shore.
Yorkers.
What people eat on the beach? Lots of snacks all day long, but that's just the fun of it.
No, Marianela, I want to see if it's the same thing. So tell me what it is.
Okay. So you would see a Latina family filling their trunks with a lot of pots, really POTS, if I said it wrong.
Okay. Pots, right?
Pots. So in it, you could find very easily spaghetti, like red spaghetti. You would find rolls, like bread rolls. And that would be like a very typical thing to go and take to the river, like spaghettis with rolls. And
that's a lot of carbs for the beach bikini season.
Yes.
When they all get in the water and they work it off. Right?
Spaghetti con pan. So that would be like, we're going to the beach. Okay, who's cooking the spaghetti? Who's bringing the rolls?
Wow.
That's interesting.
Yes.
I would never have thought of that as beach food.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, here's what they would, when the Latino families would come to the lake I would work at, they were kind of famous for this. All the lakes were stocked with fish and different fish. But what the families would do is they would fish for the fish, then they'd fry up the fish and they'd stick it between 2 pieces of bread, and it would just be a sunny, like they wouldn't do anything to it other than fry it up.
Yeah.
Just eat it straight out of the water, cooked.
Some ketchup.
And they would call them, they were, most of them were sunny, so they would be sunny sandwiches. And they'd offer them to me all the time, and I'd be like, I'm good. I work here. I know what's in that water. I'm good. I don't need to eat it.
But it's very enjoyable by families, like to take, to cook. And that's why the idea of the lakes in the U.S. works really well for Latino families, because they love to go out and cook, so cook like meals that you wouldn't really think of cooking as Americans, it's always like something quick and easy.
Yeah.
Wabba
We would be
hoagies.
thinking of elaborated things to be doing on the beach, which is crazy, because then we take all these things and utensils and the seasonings and everything. So if you don't want to be as easy, then you take a spaghetti con pan.
That is outstanding. I've learned so much today.
I just think of how long it takes when I have a group of friends or even just me and one other person, how long it can take to get down to the beach.
Because of all the stuff you need to pack?
Because of all the stuff
Oh my God.
the sunblock, my 80 SPF that I need. And then it's like, okay, should we bring drinks? And then there's the cooler and towels. And should we leave our phones here or take them with us? And then
Well, how would
we
you
usually
take
end up
selfies if you
just
don't?
It's a whole
pull
lot of work.
pictures, or it didn't happen,
I was
obviously.
telling Mary Beth last summer, I think, when I had we went to the shore and we went to the beach and we were cooking. We brought like a grill to the beach and we had all this stuff. Everybody, like a group of 40 people, and we were cooking for everybody. And imagine all the amount of work that it took to get everything in and then remove it.
Now, see, I grew up on boats a lot. So I was on rivers and stuff like that. And we actually used to do that. So the boat would have a grill on it, and we would literally, and all the food, and we would float it to the river edge, and we would cook on the side of the river. And, we'd grill up. And it was a blast. It was so much fun. There would be a number of boats all tied up, oftentimes sort of linked together, where you could sort of hop between all the boats. But we'd all go on the beaches and we'd share food. And actually, it was
I love that idea.
Yeah. And then you had the river as your bathroom. So it was, that sounds awesome.
Well, yeah, what I
Well then,
And then everybody had their dogs. And you see the dogs floating out to the shoreline. It was the best.
What we're all saying, what the common denominator is here, is doesn't matter if it's the water, what kind of water, the lake, the ocean, it's a gathering spot.
Yeah.
It's a great gathering spot for family and friends to talk, to eat, to share food, to share stories, and that's what it's all about, no matter where you are.
see that's
Now,
sweet.
so that's the flip side, right? So that is so positive, except this is the way we actually look at the shore. My shore place is better than your shore place because everyone knows Ocean City is the best of all the shore communities.
Whoa.
Better than Sea Isle, better than Brigantine, better than Avalon Stone Harbor. It's better than Cape May, right? We can all agree on this, right?
Now you're going to make
Absolutely
everybody
not.
defend
Mike,
their
Absolutely
point.
not.
You never
Ocean
said it's
City's
better than-
packed.
I am
You
not
can't-
taking the bait.
anyway.
But that really is, the argument, and I say that facetiously because I love actually all the shore communities. They're really great. But the truth of the matter is they are, to sort of the flip side of what Maria, or actually I guess in agreement with what Maria was saying, is that, you do have this sense of community in these places. Like, I will admit that of all the shore communities, I feel least comfortable in Sea Isle. And I think it's because I didn't spend a lot of time in Sea Isle.
What are you talking about?
Well, it's so weird because, I'm Irish. It's a very Irish kind of town. And I used to cover Sea Isle for the newspaper. So I covered it for like a year when I lived down the shore. So I know it like the back of my hands, but it's never felt like my shore town. Ocean City and Cape May will always feel like 1 and 2. And I lived in Wildwood. But the time I was covering Sea Isle, I lived in Wildwood for 2.5 years. And that never felt like my town. Ocean City and Cape May will always be the places I go. Like if you go to another.
What, though, if anybody who grew up at the beach, and Marianela, anybody who was born and raised in these shore towns, they never say go to the shore. They say go to the beach. And if they ever hear anyone in their town say I'm going to the shore, they'll make fun of them. So then there's this term Shoobies. And there's in Brigantine, I've noticed there's this never ending. I'm sure it's true with all the communities, the locals versus the Shoobies or the visitors. And I feel like unless you're in that local crowd, you're a nuisance. I've noticed that. And I don't like that because, shore communities need visitors to stay afloat.
But I think the reason they don't say they're going to the shore is because they're already at the
They're
shore.
at the
because
beach,
it's that
right.
region thing. So it's that
Right.
idea of, now I'm going to the beach. Because
Yep.
once I'm at the shore, I'd go to the beach.
Yeah.
Well, that's like laughing at all. You always know who the Shoobies are because it'll be May or early June, and all the locals are in their sweaters and long pants, and all the Shoobies are in their shorts and tank tops, freezing.
Yeah.
Because it's so cold at the shore in those beginning months.
Now, I think getting to what you were saying, Mary, I had an interesting experience going to LBI where I didn't realize it's more north. So the people that go there, I didn't figure this out till 15 years ago, that they come down from New York. So a lot of the people at Long Beach Island are out of state. And you can tell by the Giants paraphernalia.
Oh, God.
I know.
It's a proper response.
Banned
There you go.
banned word. But yeah, or Giants or Yankees. There's a lot of the paraphernalia, and I don't consider myself a shoebie. I guess I only live an hour away, so I'm there during the off season.
Well, does anyone know why
Such-
they're called Shoobies? I'm sure Mary Beth
Didn't-
does. Anybody else
Thank you,
remember?
Mary
Explain
Beth.
it?
Could you explain it?
They're called Shoobies because they used to take a shoebox and pack their lunch in it. You'd get your tasty cake, you get your sandwich, you get your chips that didn't come in a prepackaged bag. You wrapped them up into saran wrap and you packed it all in a shoebox. And then you put a rubber band around the shoebox or you taped it up so that everything would stay in place.
That's exactly
I always
right.
thought it was people
Really?
who wore shoes and socks to the beach,
No.
which there are plenty
Yes.
of
No,
who
it's
are out of
people-
state. I see them in shoes. I'm like, what are you doing?
No.
Go barefoot.
It's people who packed their lunch to come for the day. So they were day trippers and they
Oh.
were called Shoobies because of the way they packed their lunch in shoeboxes. And I remember my father packing things in shoeboxes.
Now,
Shoeboxes. There
is
you go.
shoebies
Didn't they have anything else to pack them in? Like, what was this shoe?
Back in the day, I mean, we have all sorts of things that box stuff up, but back in the day, there weren't really all that many boxes lying around, so you had your shoebox.
Oh.
You know, I mean, this term goes back 50, 60 years.
Is it native to Jersey?
Shoobies, yeah.
Huh.
Well, packing stuff in shoeboxes is not native to
I
South
am
Jersey, but
learning
the
so
term
much.
shoebie is, yeah.
I have to say something because we're talking Catholic and how we're gathering. We are remiss if we do not mention the Catholic parishes down the shore and how well they
Thank you,
do during
Maria.
the summertime.
Yeah.
Now you see
So
why she's my right
we
hand.
have to mention that how crowded they are with families at every time on a Sunday and even 4:30 on a Saturday.
That is true. You know, people don't. You know, I think there's always this misconception that everybody goes on vacation and forgets that the church exists. And I think for people who might go like for a destination, may oftentimes think to themselves, "Well, I have all these things planned. I'm not going to make it to church today." However, down the shore, our places our parishes are packed. As a matter of fact, you know, we jokingly say. It's sort of a half truth that, you know, it's the summer months that are able to sustain our shore parishes over the course of the year, because I mean the truth of the matter is, as any beach community, that it lessens in the fall and winter and spring. So the summer is when the most number of people are going to be there, particularly from a collection standpoint. But actually, that's one of the things that makes me so happy when I go down is to see how it's standing room only in so many of these parishes. It's great. I love it. And most of them have multiple facilities on the island to accommodate, and it's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah, I often think about it when I go to Mass. I see families, generations. I see the grandmother to the young baby, and I think to myself, gee, is it the grandfather saying, hey, I'm going to church, you want to join me, or whatever? But they're usually, you don't have to be as dressed, but most people do present themselves well. They're together, they're almost filling up a pew, the whole family.
Yep.
And I am very pleased to see that in the summertime. Ocean City, there are 3 churches, part of St. Damian's. I've been to all of them full, like Mike said, standing room only
Yep.
in the summertime.
Wow.
And yes, that is the only place where when I'll go to a mass and see the people wearing their church shorts and sandals to mass.
I
right
saw a bikini one time.
in mass,
Yes.
really?
Yes. I was a little kid, but I just remember the look of horror on my parents' faces, and
Yeah, that might be a step.
That
That
was
might be a
kinda
step
etched
too
into my
far.
memory, yeah.
All right. I'm not pro bikini, nor am I pro speedo at mass. But yeah. Full body suit maybe. We'll go with that.
I've seen bare feet before. Yeah, people take it.
Yeah.
And
What-
you know me, I'm not that.
Yeah, yeah. But you always dress appropriately wherever you go.
And beautifully.
Oh, go on, everyone.
I wouldn't know.
Pass the mic around.
No.
I know that St. Michael's and Brigantine is always crowded because that's the only church on the island. That's actually where my parents got married, like 46 years ago.
And there's always
so it's
a-
nice going back there.
Yeah, that is nice. And there's always a zillion masses too. Like it's not like it's 3 masses and it's packed. They'll put on 11 masses for a weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And each and every one of them will be packed. There'll be visiting priests coming in to help out, or retired priests that come down to help out. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
People need to remember that the parishes are full service during the summertime. That's when they're working.
There was I went in Ocean City. I don't know if it's been going on. I used to cover this cardinal every year would go to St. Damian's Church or St. Damian's Parish in Ocean City, that church down there. And you were talking about visiting priests. The Cardinal O'Brien, would come in. And I don't know if he still does it. He must have a home in Ocean City. But he comes down, and I've covered him celebrating Mass. Mm-hmm. And that's cool to see. It's neat. I forget where he's from, but we're a hot spot.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of famous people that have Jersey places. All the athletes in Philadelphia, not all of them, but certainly most of the Flyers guys have houses down the shore, and a lot of the other players have houses down the shore. Then you have, I mean, Oprah still has her place. Her husband or her partner, whatever. What is his name again? I can't remember.
That's Stefan.
Stedman. You're right.
Stedman.
Stedman is from South Jersey. His family's from South Jersey. So I covered her one year when it's in this. All right, so most people think of the Jersey Shore as this little strip of land that goes across the shoreline, but there are actually all these other things called counties right behind it, like Cape May County, which has these 3 well-named townships of Lower, Middle, and Upper. Very easy to know where you are. So in Middle Township, there's this little tiny borough called Whitesboro, and Whitesboro is this predominantly black community, which has some of the best food. If you ever go to their church services, it's unbelievable. But that's where Stedman's from, and so Oprah and Stedman will come back almost every year and attend the church services and come for the festivals and stuff like that. Well, she's got a place in Avalon and right on the beach.
She might now, but I got a good Oprah story for you on that front.
Yeah.
So our very good family friends had a place on like 125th Street in Stone Harbor, and Oprah rented right next door to them one summer. She was up for something with Stedman's family, and they rented this house next to the McEnroes, and my parents were there for the weekend. So somebody from Oprah's entourage came over to borrow a blender and took the blender back, and the next day Oprah came to return the blender.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So it was pretty cool. My mother and Teresa were like, we met Oprah today. Yeah. It was so much fun, but she was just as gracious and kind and just like any other person next door borrowing a blender.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't know she had it. I guess she has since bought the place in Avalon.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I've never been to it, never been invited over, but that's what I understand.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, there are lots of celebrities. Most of them are in Avalon, but lots of celebrities.
Are we talking about Oprah Winfrey?
Yes, Oprah Winfrey. How many other Oprahs are there?
No, I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So going back round again of sort of like everyone's favorite memories, maybe not so much memories, but their favorite thing about their preferred island town now. Like, where's the best place for breakfast? Where's the best place for dinner? And which beach is the best? So we'll go around starting with Mary again. Best breakfast, best dinner, best beach.
Oh gosh, this is hard. Okay, I feel an allegiance to Laguna Bar and Grill. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I worked there for a very long time, and they have 3 sections. So they have, an inside dining room, a deck area, and then an outside area where they have palm trees and chairs, and you can sit in the sand and order rum runners all day. So that is really the restaurant of choice for me. But there are some they don't have that many options in Brigantine. It's a small island, but if you ever have a chance, go to Laguna Grill. It's on 14th Street, right on the beach, and then you can just walk right there to lay out in the sun.
We should send this ad to Laguna Grill and get some sponsoring.
Rip Reynolds, hello, if you hear this.
I will be letting our advertising department know about these free plugs. And which beach, which street on the island?
Okay, this is where it gets complicated. It depends on the mood you're in. Mm-hmm. If you want to be surrounded by people and it's such a small island, everyone knows everyone, then you either go to the Jetty, which is like this beautiful stone area, great surfing spot. And then right across there is the Atlantic City skyline, which looks really, really pretty. And that's a crowded area. 14th Street, where Laguna is the place to go if you want to run into someone you haven't seen in a while. You'll always go and recognize someone there, I guarantee it. But if you're in the mood where you just want to go with a couple friends or alone, I would recommend 46th Street. That's where my parents have a place. And it's a bit of a walk. You have to walk through the dunes, but it's a pretty walk and it's quiet. And that's where you go if you just want to relax with a book in the sun alone. That's the place for solitude. So it all depends on the mood, really.
All right, Maria, what about you?
I'm going to talk about Ocean City.
And street.
Ocean City, the south end, above the 30s, I would say, for the beach. A little less crowded, even though it is crowded. That's fine. It's all part of the experience. Go in town. There's many places to eat, but probably wait in line at John and Patty's for breakfast with a lot of people. And then we usually go to Margate a lot, or Avalon Stone Harbor to eat. Margate, I would do, say, Stephen cookies I might have to do. And a little less casual is Barrels, which is very good too. And then always like the Windrift for a drink down there in that Stone Harbor, Avalon area.
I haven't been to the Windrift in
I
years.
have
That's
to mention
awesome.
that because that has definitely evolved from when I was a kid and my parents used to go there on their own to now what it is. They revamped the whole place and it's still nice and we're still going there.
Okay.
Now we're bringing our kids.
Now, I'm going to have a slightly different question for you, Marianela. Which resort do you recommend in the Dominican Republic?
Ooh, well, I more than a resort, I think which areas
Okay.
to go to. So Punta Cana is like number one on the list. Juan Dolio, it's like that's where the celebrities go. So look it up. And we have Bávaro Beach, and that is such a famous place for weddings and like such a destination for a vacation. Puerto Plata is like more north, and if you want to get a feel of how people live in the Dominican Republic, that's a good place to go. And the beaches are beautiful, and there's a lot of 5-star resorts. So depending on your budget, really look it
That's
up.
the question.
Or get a
How much?
Groupon.
All right, Mary Beth. Your Sea Isle preferences.
Well, I don't know because like I said, Sea Isle's relatively new for me, so most of my best memories are really sort of elsewhere. But
Okay.
breakfast is Sea Isle actually. I think it's called Pier 88. It's an outdoor place where you can go. There's like a little marina, and that's really fun. Best place for drinks ever is Twisties in Strathmere. That is our absolute favorite place. It's right on the water. It's really, really casual. Like we're talking
Twisties over the Deauville?
Twisties over what?
The Deauville? Oh,
Absolutely.
my goodness. Oh, you and I.
Oh,
Man,
no
you and I
way.
going to-
No way.
I've never
I'm
been there
surprised.
before.
I would have thought you'd be more the Twisties guy. It's
No,
so fun and it's so
because
casual.
It's the Deauville is because when I was a reporter down the shore, the Deauville was one of the few places that was open year round. So it was a very locals place in the wintertime. And all the reporters from around the area would just hang out there and crack wise and get into trouble. So that's why I have such a love for the Deauville.
Yeah, Deauville's pretty, but Twisties is the real deal. And then dinner, we have a lot of. There's a restaurant in Bryn Mawr. Ooh, where'd that come from? Stone Harbor. I live on that side of the river. In Stone Harbor, that really is my favorite restaurant down there, and I can't think of the name. It's right near where Henny's used to be. It's got brick inside. It might be like something like Bruschetta. No, it's on the other side of the street. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, right.
it's really good, and that's a small kind of bistro-y place. Sea Isle, we like Basilicas, Fontana Coast. Actually, Monday, we're going to one of our favorite restaurants, which is a little higher end, and that's Cafe Lorraine in Avalon.
Okay.
And my husband and I will celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary there on
congratulations.
Memorial Day.
Anniversary.
Well done.
So, yes.
There you go. All right, Peter.
Okay, Long Beach Island. If you wake up, on the beautiful Beach Haven Crest for breakfast, you want to go. Actually, it's not. You want to stay in Beach Haven Crest, but then after you take a nice walk up to Old Barney, the Barnegat Lighthouse, you can come back down and grab breakfast at Mustache Bill's. Amazing pancakes. And then after you're on the beach for a few hours, maybe playing frisbee, ping pong, into the water, you want to go to Woody's. They have a few establishments. It's a burger joint. Awesome burger, fries, delicious. And then maybe after playing mini golf or whatever somewhere at the Sand Trap or Heartland, then go to the Chegg, the chicken or the egg, which is
that's
awesome.
so good.
Oh, Mary,
Been
the
there,
chicken or
yeah.
the egg. Yeah, and I'm very excited. I want to bet with my sister a Survivor bet. The TV show Survivor. I want a Survivor bet, and she's. I got chicken wings, so they make the best. Mary, with the chicken wings, right?
Yes, I do.
So they're amazing, different sauces. So those are the places you want to check out.
And which beach? We have to go back to Mary Beth and ask about which beach is the best to go to.
The Beach Haven Crest.
Beach Haven Crest.
Because Long Beach Island is 17 miles of like Holgate, Beach Haven Crest, Surf City. But yeah, Beach Haven Crest is near Fantasy Island, and I love it.
Great. And Mary Beth, which beach is the best in Sea Isle for depending on what you want to do?
Well, I like the beach right at the end of our street where it's 75th, so we're down in sort of the quieter southern end of Sea Isle. But I think my favorite stretch of beach down there is probably the end of Stone Harbor, that area that's not developed after you get to the end of Stone Harbor. And I love to ride my bike from Sea Isle over the bridge up to the end of Stone Harbor and just sort of chill out down there. It's great. But now the bridge is closed even to pedestrians and bikers, so that's going to be a bummer.
That is a bummer. I've been covering that side of Townsend Inlet for a long time, and it seems like anytime something goes wrong in Sea Isle, it has something to do with Townsend Inlet. That place is snake bit.
I just remembered I have to throw something out there about Brigantine. Don't go to the north end if you want to go to the beach because of the greenhead population.
Yeah.
I don't know if they exist
bad,
in the other shore towns, but
Oh,
there
yeah,
are people who
LBI,
buy
yeah.
like multi-million-dollar homes at the north end just to realize that they can't take a step outside without getting eaten alive by greenheads.
Yeah.
Now, my parents don't get bit for some reason, but I do. They love my blood, so I avoid an entire end of the island. So that's something if anybody's hearing this and wants to go to Brigantine, I need to tell them that.
Ocean City gets that a lot too. You get that inland breeze. Like the last time I was in Ocean City,
Yeah.
that's what happened. And man, they were just all over me. It was like, ugh, good.
No,
I call them with my blood too.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
We have sweet blood.
Me too. Yeah, those bugs just go after me. But I want to know, what type of day beach person are you or shore person? For me, I like going about 4 o'clock, stay till about 7, 3 hours. I'm a later person, but I know my family goes. Some of them go at like 9 a.m. So what time of the day is the best?
You're an enjoy yourself at the shore at your own risk kind of guy?
A bit. I'm worried about, the sun. I've been sunburned too many times. So I do want to be careful. And they say like the sun is at its peak, I think 10 to 2, 9 to 2.
So here's my question. If you're going to the beach at 4 o'clock, let's say you're down at the beach for a week, what do you do from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.?
Oh, I explore the island. I go up to the island. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, read. But yeah, I mean, that for me, maybe about 3:30 till about 7 when dinner time is. For me, at least, that is when I kind of like it. There's a better breeze in my experience.
So maybe
It's
that's
hot.
the question I ask: is what is your typical day at a beach? Your typical day. I know all the days are a little different, but when you think about it, what is your day at the beach?
Yeah, I don't think I could even give you a typical day. It depends on the weather. It depends. Once you become a homeowner, you get a lot of company. And so there's that.
Okay, then let's go with this. What is your preferred day at the beach?
My preferred day at the beach is to get up and take a good walk or a bike ride. Try and get some exercise in the morning. And then maybe hit the beach with a good book. And
Around what time?
I'm usually at noon, 1 o'clock. I'm not a crack of dawn person, but I do like Pete. I love that time at night. Usually we have plans, so you're rushing off. But I think that's sort of
that
5
golden
to
hour.
7 or 8 even, and just let the crowds go. And there's that breeze, and maybe you have a little cooler with something in it, and there's just nothing better.
Cooler with something in it. That's funny.
The lifeguards leave.
I don't know, Marianela, do you have a perspective on that?
I actually like Pete's timing. Since I come from the island and we're always sort of like looking for the shade, and when it's not too hot and not too sunny, I like to go and sort of like sit down, read a book if I now can with the 2 kids. But I am sort of like getting into a new style of going to the beach with the 2 kids.
That's crazy
And
mom style.
They love so Mariana loves the going and playing with the sand. First time we took the baby to the beach, we went to Mexico and we went to Cancun, and he was crying. Oh, actually, I'm lying. First time he went to the beach was in the Dominican Republic. That was Mariana at Cancun, and he was crying because he didn't like the sand. So this is like, I think his second time when he went to Seattle, and now, like, he can walk on the sand. And he was crying at first, sort of like afraid, but now he likes to do that.
Sounds to me he just likes the Jersey Shore better.
Oh,
Maybe that's
I don't know.
what it is.
He was
I think
crying
that
in the
might be
Dominican
it.
Republic for sure.
Okay,
All
and
right.
I'm with Mary Beth. I like to get up early and take a walk, take a bike ride, grab a Wawa coffee if I'm walking, come back, and then everyone's slowly getting up, enjoy time with them outside, maybe have some breakfast, and then go later to the beach. And I also enjoy that 5-6 o'clock time on the beach.
Yeah.
Just having great conversation and hanging out, and it's the best.
All right. Come on, photographer. What's yours?
Golden hour,
Of course,
obviously.
obviously. There you go.
Hour
Amen.
after sunrise or hour before sunset. But that said, my ideal beach day would start waking up to not an alarm, whenever that may be. I don't care if it's 8 a.m. or 1 p.m. Whenever I get up, going to the beach and staying there until the sun goes down. I'm very much an all-day person, come
Wow.
prepared with food. There is, I could always go back to my parents' place if I want to. It's like a 20-minute walk if I want to take a nap or need a break from the sun. But I'm also a water person. I could spend the entire day in the ocean. So with or without lifeguards, I don't care.
So I guess you
And
know how
then
to
even
swim.
the nighttime walks on the beach, there's something magical about
That's the
that
best.
too.
Yeah.
So I mean, every hour there's something special about.
For me, going down, when I was a kid, not as much now because we've never really done it right in the 20 years I've been married. But, I mean, we did it right twice.
I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast.
I hope she does and
Jennifer.
realizes just how badly I missed the shore. No, we've talked about this, but the best time I always thought going down was when we had other family down. So either other family would rent a place and we would come down, or vice versa, or whatever. So, like in the old days, it was me and my cousin staying in the same house, his or my family's, and then we'd be up and out by 9 a.m. at the beach. Well, in our teen years, maybe closer to 10 or 11. But you'd go out, you'd have a blast on the beach, throw the football around, dive into the water. In our case, chase girls for as many as we would walk by. And then around noon, 1 o'clock, you're back at the house again, having lunch, watching whatever television is on. If it's a weekend, you're watching baseball. If not, you're watching reruns. And then back out again around 2, 3 o'clock to be there till about 5. Come back to the house again, taking long walks and everything like that. Then back to the house again, clean up. And then usually if we were in Ocean City, it'd be going to the boardwalk, spend like 3-4 hours on the boardwalk, come back to the house. All the parents would have been about 3 or 4 drinks in at that point, probably playing cards. Yeah, at that point, they're pretty much not paying attention to us any longer. So we'd be all over the house, all over the neighborhood, and then it'd be like 2 a.m, particularly in Ocean City, and we'd be on our bikes riding someplace. And not to get into trouble, literally just to ride and hang out and see, because it was...
Right. Just to ride bikes and hang out.
I don't know about you, Mary, but I was a good boy growing up.
Well,
I did
yeah, I'm
nothing
just-
but good
I'm
things.
sure you were.
And listening to all of you, I'm just like, there's a trend. Like, so I guess mostly everybody here. So you go to the beach for a few days. You go to the shore,
Yeah,
right?
ideally.
So we don't have a lot of commuters to the beach. Like,
No,
just,
nowadays that is
like,
what I do. It's all day trips. So I live an hour
That was
from...
more my style.
Yeah, well, I live an hour from Ocean City now. So Jack and I only went down to the beach once last year. We took a friend of his down, and we did the full Shoobie. No shoe boxes, but did the full Shoobie, packed everything up, parked in the south end of Ocean City around 40th, walked out to the beach, almost nobody there but greenheads. That was annoying. Hung out, had a blast, cleaned up, went to the boardwalk afterwards, and then drove back. The days I miss are the days where we stayed down there for a week or an exceptionally long weekend. And it's just because you need that first day to kind of get settled. And then you need that second day to see all the new things that happened in town that you weren't aware of. Then you need day 3, 4, and 5 to actually enjoy yourself. And then day 6 is just packing up and dreading going back to, and then whatever fights you're having with your significant others and children.
Yeah.
To actually back stuff
And you
up.
feel bad for like.
And who ditches early so they don't have to help pack up.
Oh
So,
yeah, there's always one of them.
I find the perfect. I remember every year my family and I, we rent a beach, all get beach houses at the same place for a week, like the same couple blocks. One year, my parents got lucky. The owners said, "Hey, you want it for the half week before?" So instead of going down Saturday, we went down Wednesday, and we had it for 10 days. That was the perfect sweet spot because I didn't feel like I felt like you were saying, Mike, you start Saturday, but then it takes you a few days to get adjusted, and then you're already packing up to go home. Mm-hmm. With the 10 days, it was like by Saturday, Sunday, it was like, oh man, now I can just relax, and because I've seen the things, and I can kind of be in my element here. There's not that stress.
Truthfully, the best scenario is owning a place there yourself. And even better if you don't have to rent it out and he's just there for you the entire time.
That's where I'm
that's the
lucky.
goal.
My parents have a place there. I go whenever.
Yeah.
And you feel so bad for the people who you can tell that, they paid to rent a place for a week and then it's downpouring that whole week. And you look outside and there's still people at the beach because it's like this is their one time there. Yeah. I guess I'd go to the beach in the rain too, but it's always so unfortunate, banking on one weekend to be that perfect 80-degree weather. Yeah. You wouldn't do it?
In the beach.
When I lived at the shore, I had the only way to refer to this place is a hovel. It was a hovel. I was an apartment manager in addition to being a reporter, but I had the super cheap rent to be an apartment manager there, and I did very little managing. I maybe managed 2 days a year. So it was basically just, and the place showed it. So no one would ever hire me back. But this was my mid-20s. I wasn't trying real hard.
Thank God you switched careers.
Yes.
No more lifeguard too. God.
No lifeguarding, none of that stuff. But the benefit was living in this little hovel and having the entire shore community at my disposal anytime I wanted it. And I actually love rainy days at the beach or at the shore.
So relaxing.
Because it is so relaxing. So nice. The best time for me is a rainy day in October or a rainy day in February. There's just something about that time of year down the shore. If you don't commit suicide, it'll be a great, because it can be very desolate. It's those winter at the shore is a tough time to live.
It's almost scary.
Yeah, January,
it's a ghost town.
Once Christmas hits, Christmas till say the first nice day in early March, it's a difficult way to live down there unless you really love sort of being away from everyone else, not seeing another human face except for that one Wawa or Starbucks barista that you know. But that being said, if you're into that, it's great.
Yeah.
I miss it.
I love the February. I would do a day trip by myself February to Long Beach Island because there is nobody there. You see how they're doing, especially after Hurricane Sandy affected so much in Long Beach Island and other areas. It was right after. I remember the February after, you saw all the homes, and it was devastating, especially one part of the island. I don't know. I know Long Beach Island got hit pretty hard, but I can't remember. Were there any other...
Yeah, all
other
the
places down here, right?
All the island communities. Strathmere got hit pretty hard. I think almost all of them got hit in some degree or another. But LBI, I think, was the worst in South Jersey.
No, Brigantine might
Brigantine.
have been because it's just one strip, Ocean Bay, and the ocean met the bay.
Yeah,
and the worst part about Sandy was the year before there was Hurricane Irene, which everyone evacuated for, and then it turned out to be just another awesome storm.
Yeah.
So nobody left for Sandy, and I remember the family members I had, the Coast Guard had to take them by boat, them and their dogs and everything, because their homes were underwater.
This is kind of like totally out of the conversation, but I am noticing like this podcast could actually be called some kind of like Marianne podcast. Look at this. We have Mary, Maria, Marianela, Mary Beth, And Mike, we only have a P.
We have one non-M. That's
Yeah,
true.
I'm the outlier always.
Yeah.
If anyone's listening, they must be very
I
confused
am
with all the M's.
Well, you think that's being the host is. I have to remember Mary Beth, Marianela, Maria. It's very difficult. I do. It happens all the time. I'll be like, Mary Beth.
The
Marianela.
Mary's show.
It's the worst.
Our mothers are good Catholics.
That's right. All right, so sort of finishing up, we're gonna wrap up the podcast. I'm curious. Pete always likes to ask about summer reading and things like that. Do you have any books that you're actually thinking about reading this summer? What about you, Pete?
Well, last year I started a book, and unfortunately I tried to read a book for all week, and I didn't finish it, and I only picked it up. It's a book on pirates. I can't remember the name of it, but it was very, very fascinating in the Caribbean, about the real life. It was like an adventure story about pirates and the English Navy, and it was just interesting. My hope is I'll have to start it again, but that's kind of the goal.
What's it called?
I forget the name of it. I will. I'll grab it. It's something I can't remember. I have it at home.
Do you know which week you're going down to the shore this year?
Yeah, all the time. Last full week in June.
Last full week in June. Okay. Mary Beth?
Well, I'm in 2 book clubs, so I'm usually just trying to do my best to keep up with whatever they're doing. And I because I drive a lot with working here, I usually try and listen to one on tape and read the other one. So I have to go back to my list. But not to take us down a whole different path, but I have the very exciting pleasure of going to Normandy at the end of June.
Wow.
And I'm actually looking for a good, not too heavy book on D-Day so that I can really feel up to speed when we get to Normandy.
I'm not sure a non-too-heavy book about World
Well,
War II
yeah,
exists,
I know, but I mean, I don't know.
not so onerous you can't actually get through it.
Yeah. And so, anyway,
idea.
that's our really exciting plan for this summer.
Add that to the episode notes, Pete, that ask the people for any books on Normandy that they could recommend for Mary Beth.
Well,
do you want to know about the war, or do you want to know just about the area of Normandy?
Well, really both. I mean, not the whole war, but the war in that
invasion,
time
right,
period.
yeah.
The invasion, and I mean, I know the generals, but just something a little bit more. So even a good historical nonfiction. I mean,
Sylvia Lamone is the
historical
woman
fiction
to ask.
would be good for
Well,
that.
didn't one of the Ambroses, was it Steve, wrote about the Band of Brothers? That became a book, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That became the
that's
movie?
all of World War II.
Yeah,
that
but
spans
am I-
World War
I'm
II. But
just saying,
I
kind of
know that
Normandy.
someone has written just about D-Day and Normandy, so I'm sure that exists.
Yes,
We'll
I'm sure
find
it does too. I just haven't really researched it yet, but.
All right, Marianela, what will you be reading this summer?
Well, I have this book with the biography of Pope Francis I've been trying to read, and I'm like half the way. So,
Hopefully
that's
you'll
the
get
one.
to it.
Also, like Andres shared with me a book he recently wrote about the charismatic renewal,
Oh, Andres Arango?
Andres Arango, and I just want to, really read it to
You
give
should
him
read
some
it.
feedback.
And then let me know how it's like, because I can't read it.
Yeah.
It's in Spanish.
So that's in my list.
It's a good idea.
I am up for suggestions because I do read a lot in the summer on the beach, especially, and on the patio. But right now I'm reading a book, 36 Hours, and it's about dementia that actually Father Sanji recommended me. Father Sanji works in Vitality Catholic Healthcare Services. So far it's given me a little bit of insight into how to handle someone close to you with dementia.
That's good. Now, since Mary's a millennial, I don't know if she reads books, but were you planning on reading anything? Or are you just going to
maybe she has a
What?
nook. You have a nook?
Did she get a tweet? Or, I mean, you're just going to read your Twitter account?
Kindle?
Or?
I don't even have a Twitter. I don't have a Kindle. I
Insta?
like paper books.
Yes.
I like the
yes.
smell of them. I like flipping through them. No, but
What book are you going to read?
I have like ADD when it comes to books. I'll reread the same one 3 times in a row if I love it that much, and then I'll kind of be in the middle of one and switch to another. But the one I keep coming back to, it's called The Fool's Progress by Edward Abbey. It's a semi-autobiography, and I just love it so far.
Who is the author?
Edward Abbey,
Edward Abbey. Who is he?
He writes books.
an author.
No, I mean, it's autobiography of his life, so I guess
It's
he's
kind of his journey from being kind of an awful human being who you really just despise reading this book. And it's kind of a story of redemption, but still in a realistic way. I just love it's. I can't give too much away, but I mean, it's just a fascinating like feature piece on this guy. And I'm still in the part where you kind of hate him, but you see him making progress, and you know, I have a feeling about where it's going to go, but it's really, really good.
That's awesome.
It's funny, dark humor, but also really touching, and it's amazing.
Cool. All right. Well, we gave the listeners some ideas for some of their own reading
What about
books.
you, Mike?
Please. I got so many books that
Cracking on the millennial who doesn't read. I feel like you're...
Oh, I'll be... Hey, listen. Reading Twitter counts.
Okay.
No, I always say that I'm going to read something. I have a stack of books, like, I don't know, 2 feet high, that people are generously give to me, and some that I've requested over the years. And I say every summer I'm going to read one. And
you said you would read Power and the Glory last time I recommended that to you.
You know what I like about that? You saying that out loud is not only do I not remember it, I don't even remember what that book is about. What is that book about?
So, I know that.
The Whiskey Priest in Mexico.
Yeah, I should probably read that. Did you give it to me?
I think I might have, actually. And if that's the case and you don't read it this summer, I want it back. It's one of my favorite books ever.
I don't think you did, because the last person to loan me a book was Rod Herrera, who works down and it took me 2.5 years to read the book, but I did return it to him. But yeah, so I got a whole bunch of books. I'm not going to even make a claim that I'm going to read one this year. You give me that one, and I promise that I will read it.
It's a very quick read.
Yeah, that's what everyone
Just
says.
for the listeners, like, if you know, we're gonna sort of like confirm that you are listening to Talking Catholic by you sending some like recommendations to Mary Beth about the book she's looking for, and to Maria, who's looking for some cool things to read during the summer. So you can post it on social media and bring it up.
Tag us at Talking Catholic and give us your suggestions.
Yeah. Well, I did find the name of the book was The Republic of Pirates, being the true and surprising story of the Caribbean pirates and the man who brought them down by Colin Woodard. So that is the book. I recommend that.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, everybody, thank you for listening. I hope you'll all have a great summer. Pete and I are planning on doing some trips down to the down to the shoreline this summer, where we will we'll do some broadcasting from down there. We had actually hoped to do something this week, but my schedule didn't work out. We would have been in Ocean City, but we're going to try and make that happen later in the summer. And who knows, we might have some special guests on. So have a great Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Remember, if you get a chance, to go to Mass at a Catholic cemetery this weekend, and certainly remember those who have fallen, and to protect our country. Everyone that we memorialize this weekend from the armed forces. So thanks, everyone, and have a great weekend.
Adios.
Bye.
Happy summer.